that her Kehillah Kadosha, she wrote that song about Henry S. Jacobs Camp and the many summers she spent there building Jewish community. And I love the words because it's so personal to her, but also so universal as we all seek those kinds of places. And that's sort of what I wanted to talk about tonight. So I was thinking about things that have gone on in Memphis. They don't usually get sermon airtime. And I was wondering if you remember last month when Zim the macaque monkey got free from her space at the zoo and everybody was looking for her. You remember that? When they were looking for the monkey? And it was really something to, it was amazing to think that this little animal was scampering around in those pipes under the zoo for as long as she was. And I found myself sort of wondering, what must it have been like for her being so far from where she was used to being. And, when animals wander, when they run away, they don't always want to be away from their home, right? I mean, you probably have dogs that do that sometimes. They just run. I have a dog that does that. She just runs. And I don't actually think she wants to be away. She just likes to run, but then all of a sudden, she's out there and she's lost, and it's a problem. You have to come back home. And sometimes that's sort of hard to do. And that idea of being far from the place that's familiar to you, that really helps you feel safe and be who you are, is kind of not only a part of Zim's story, but also a part of the Jewish story. So I'm comparing us to monkeys, I guess, today. We're like that macaque. But wandering is part of our Jewish history. It's not always by choice. In fact, usually it's not by choice. But we do spend a lot of time between places, wandering from one place to the next. We spend time as a people throughout our story in lots of unfamiliar places throughout the course of our lives. The wilderness, of course, we all study the wilderness, the time between Egypt and the Promised Land that most of the Torah talks about. That's one kind of passage. But there have been lots of passages in our Jewish lives through different places, lots of little pipes under the zoo. And one of our great philosophers, Abraham Joshua Heschel, made this beautiful observation that because Jewish people spend so much time going from place to place and wandering, we found ourselves able to be Jewish anywhere, that we make Judaism sacred through our use of time instead of our use of space. So because we've had to do that, and we've gotten really good at that, no matter where you are in the world, you can make Shabbat come there. No matter where you are in the world, you can observe Passover. And that's a special gift of the way that we are Jewish together. And you may have done that, been somewhere you didn't expect to be, and find yourself making Judaism come there. Our holidays are predictable, and we create them wherever we are. And I think that Rabbi Heschel noticing this is right. It is a really amazing part of being Jewish. It's like carrying your religion with you in a backpack everywhere you go, and you make it wherever you are. But just because we've proven as Jewish people that we can do it anywhere, and we can, it doesn't mean that we don't feel closer to our Judaism or closer to God in certain places. So just because we are able to be anywhere doesn't mean that we don't want to attach ourselves to any particular place. Sometimes we do. This week's Torah portion reminds us that God wanted us to gather in a special place to pray. God wanted us to not only communicate with God and offer our sacrifices, which was a form of prayer during times of the Torah. God didn't want us to just do that anywhere. God wanted us to do that in the place that God would show us, which was the temple in Jerusalem, because gathering in one holy place is really special, even if you can't do it all the time. God tells our ancestors they should go to that place to pray. God understood that having that place was important. So one of the important challenges for us, for all of us, is, because we're modern Israelites living all over the place, is to find our holy place too. Because our world out there says, oh, you don't need a place, you don't need a city, you don't need a congregation, you don't need a synagogue building, just be who you are wherever you are. Well, actually, our tradition says you can do that, but it's really special to find a holy place. Maybe it's the land of Israel, as many of you experienced this summer. Maybe that's a place that you feel really close to God, and it's good then, if you found that, to go there. Maybe it's camp, like Ellie sang about. Maybe that's a place you go and you feel really close to your Jewish self and really close to God. Maybe it's a certain place in nature that always speaks to you and that you know that it's there. Maybe it's this very sanctuary where so many special moments in your life have happened. Maybe that's the place that you come and all you have to do to talk to God is just whisper, and God is there, instead of yell, like most of the time maybe we feel like we do. Tonight is the beginning of the Hebrew month of Elul, which is the big getting ready month before Rosh Hashanah, which is only a few weeks away. And so one of our jobs this new year, I just want to suggest, is to remember that we, unlike some of our ancestors, actually have an incredible amount of freedom to find and go to our holy places. They couldn't do that. That's why Judaism fits in a backpack sometimes. But we can. And so we should become attached to places as well as time. And I hope that we can take hold of that freedom in the year to come and say, you know what, I'm going to find my holy place, and I'm going to go there as much as possible. And if it's temple, then it's only a few minutes away instead of having to cross the ocean. But anywhere you feel close to God is a place to go. Makom is the Hebrew word for God. And it's also the Hebrew word for place. So I hope that in this new year, we can make a little time to find hamakom, to find a holy place, a place where we feel close to God, and make that one of our many New Year's resolutions so that we can honor the history that we have, not just by being portable, but by being builders of a foundation in a Jewish life. So that's my hope for us this year. Shabbat shalom.